Today I'm going to have a look at the Inspirational 4 from SpaceX, which essentially is SpaceX's take on the space tourism charade. Cut the short clips, a few bits and bobs to look at. First one's a news clip, essentially giving us the story surrounding the Inspirational 4. Fair use, this is for educational purposes, to enlighten us all on the latest news on the space pantomime circuit. Let's have a look.
SpaceX's Inspiration 4 mission is now flying higher than the International Space Station. The first all-civilian crew to reach orbit woke up to this remarkable view this morning. Well, that's the shuttle taking off, and here is what they're now seeing. People across the country got to watch that launch last night. Our Gio Benitez, though, got to be there in person.
Just need to correct you there, young lady. Most of the clips we've just seen are from the supposed ISS. You might want to have a word with the boys in the back room and tell them to get their propaganda in order. It kind of helps.
Overnight, SpaceX making history, launching 4 private citizens in...
Remember the U-2 spy plane pilot, the suit he has to wear? Now look at this pantomime setup these guys have got. Ridiculous.
Orbit without a professional astronaut on board.
It is headed into orbit with the crew.
Only those 4 are waking up this morning to this view from the Dragon's cupola. More of Earth than any civilian has seen before. Crowds of people gathered in the distance to watch this historic launch. You can see this incredible moment when the Crew Dragon capsule detaches from the Falcon 9.
Oh, this guy's so amped up on this pantomime. It's just the usual tosh, mate.
Rocket. The massive booster descends back down to Earth. And as the capsule detaches from the rocket's second stage, cheers down on Earth for the mission known as Inspiration 4. As the Dragon enters space, the crew members start experiencing zero gravity. Inside
Yawn, just the usual old school party tricks. Oh dear.
Capsule, the crew releasing a toy inspired by the specially trained dogs at St. Jude Children's Hospital.
That is apropos.
This morning, they are soaring 363 miles away from Earth, orbiting the planet at 17,500 miles per hour for 3 days, going farther than any civilian has before, 100 miles past the International Space Station.
Some interesting numbers there, I'll tell ya.
38-year-old billionaire Jared Isaacman bought all 4 seats on board and then gave 3 of them away as a fundraiser for St. Jude.
There they are, our first all-civilian crew.
One of those crew members, 29-year-old Haley Arsenault, a physician's assistant at St. Jude, once a patient there. Now she is the youngest American ever to go to space and the first pediatric cancer survivor to go too.
I'm just a regular person going to space. And, not everyone has had childhood cancer, but everyone has had to overcome something.
The trip.
Good for you, young lady. Good for you. Unfortunately, I think you're going to find out that space is not quite what you thought it was.
Not without risk. This is the first time the Crew Dragon has ever gone this far into space. A computer does the flying, and if there are any issues, there is no way to get to the International Space Station. But they can return to Earth.
Well, you kind of hope they could. Kind of helps coming home, doesn't it, after a holiday?
Remember, Elon Musk wants humans to get to Mars and be able to live there.
Who the fuck wants to go to Mars? I've said it before with Chuck. We can't even sort ourselves out here, right now. We're going to mess people living in doorways. So why are you fantasizing about places that no one can get to? Oh, have a word, fella.
So there is no question this is just the beginning of civilians going farther and farther into space, Diane.
Cool stuff.
Into space, Diane. Oh, wake the fuck up, young man.
Gio Benitez at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Thanks, Gio. And let's bring in former...
Thank you, young lady. Bear with me, folks. And when I look at the live footage, obviously not live now, but when I look at this live footage, it's just the usual tosh. CGI animation, dodgy camera angles. Take note of the cupola in a minute, bottom right. The footage is about 12 seconds long, maybe a little bit longer, and is on loop. It's not even continuous. I mean, how ridiculously bad do they need to make this for you to wake up? Come on, let's have a quick look.
Those are the nitrogen puffs helping to steer and guide the vehicle, basically.
Dragon SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Did you see it, the cupola? Just correct itself. It's on loop. Pay attention to the cupola.
Basically is the attitude control for the vehicle as it makes its way back down to Earth.
There's the crew on the right-hand side of your screen. I think I see
And there we
more thumb.
Sorry, the cupola reset again. So I don't know, 12, 14 seconds and it resets. It's just on loop, short clip. Not showing you anything. So you've got CGI left, the cupola right on loop, 12 seconds, and then ridiculous camera angles. I'm not even going to put you through the over-enthusiastic applauding back at SpaceX Pantomime HQ. I won't put you through that. Now what I've had to do to find any more photography regarding the Inspirational 4 is go to their Twitter account, essentially SpaceX's Inspirational 4 Twitter account. Which is strange, you would have thought the internet now would be flooded with photographs and footage of this historical mission, of these tourists. Of course, you're on holiday, you take loads of pictures, especially when you're doing something new or dangerous or beautiful, like flying around a cannonball doing ludicrous speeds. You'd be taking loads of footage and photographs. I'd take me P900 or P1000, zoom right in proper. So I'm expecting big things from these people, which is strange because there's hardly any photography, there's no footage other than what we've seen or what we're about to see now. Where is it? Here we are. We got this, they're all obvious publicity shots. This one, hey, let's cover up the window. Ridiculous. Another obvious publicity shot, and another, and another. Just tosh. I mean, we know the globe's impossible, so we know it's the very fundamentals of this mission are built upon a lie. I mean, how obvious do these people need to make it at this point in time? It just reeks of desperation. It's ridiculous. And two photographs to finish up, which just highlight the absurdity of all of this Inspirational 4 nonsense. You've got the U-2 pilot, of course, if he gets a hole in his cabin, he dies instantly as his blood will boil. And he's only doing 400 miles an hour at an altitude of about 13 miles, 70,000 feet. But strangely enough, if you're doing 17,500 miles an hour, around a ball, over 300 miles up, don't worry about a spacesuit. I got a publicity shot to show. I got a narrative to push. Clearly, just from these two photographs alone, real, fantasy. Real, clearly ridiculous.